Welcome everyone to round 3 of Thursday night, January 8th, Star Wars Unlimited local nights over at Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. If you guys are looking for a place to play some Star Wars Unlimited, check out Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. Thursday nights, 6 p.m., $5 entry, and welcome to round 3 of our Star Showdown at Valkyrie Vault. In round 3, we got Chancellor Daedalus, the new control strategy against Boba JTL Green. This is not my version of the deck, by the way. That is not me. But funny enough, that Boba showcase right there, I was planning to actually borrow it from this player. That is their showcase. They traded it for this Chancellor. So I was going to ask them to let me borrow this showcase Boba for the event. Unfortunately, they traded it. But they did let me know they were definitely going to let me borrow the leader if they still had it. So anyways, this is also the player that after round 1 also got their score inputted wrong and forcing them to play, basically play into a loser, or basically a round 1 loser alongside each other. So instead of playing a round 1 winner and then going us down a normal conga line, they unfortunately did not report the score wrong, and by the time we realized that we were already well within round number 2. Again, we had 16 people, so there was no need to do any pair downs unless we had ties. So we didn't have any pair downs at all, so we should have had, after round number 1, 8 undefeateds, which we did, but technically the problem was that we also, if round 2 had ended with this player not tying against Yoda Data Vault, we would have had 5 undefeateds. So that is a very problem there. So again, PSA, make sure you check your scores before you go into the next round. But nonetheless, let's take a quick discussion of these two decks. So anyways, we discussed Boba JTL Green. I don't know if it's the same version I'm running, but nonetheless, it's the exact same concept my deck was already running. Let's talk more about this deck. This is, in my opinion, the new control strategy right now playing out of SEC. The Chancellor Palpatine states tap him. Look at top, I think 7 cards of your deck. I can't remember how many cards, but you look at so many cards on the top of your deck, you can grab 1 plot card and add it to your hand, put the rest of the deck on the bottom of a deck in any order. And then he flips for 7 on his backside. When he flips, the first plot card you play from your resources costs 3 less. So basically, you can flip him and then reduce the cost of a plot card that you're going to play for 3 less. Meaning that you don't have to pay the full price of the plot card. So the whole gimmick of the Chancellor is just straight control, utilizing a lot of plot cards that we have in this set. I'll actually ping a video right now on YouTube where we actually did take a look at a Chancellor Palpatine deck and went to Karabast and tried it out. It's a lot of fun. I think it's a really cool control strategy. A little different than other control strategies like Iden Data Vault and Kira Data Vault. But again, it's in the exact same coloration we know for Vigilance Villainy, where it's in that control style strategy. We've seen a lot of control style decks. Iden, Kira, and Palpatine all play with Data Vault. I do 100% expect Data Vault to be the meta relevant base when we hit a lawless time. But enough rambling about that. Let's jump into game number 1. Here we go, folks, for game number 1. We're going to start off with a Dr. Pershing main member. Tap it, you can do 1 damage to a unit, and then draw a card here, as we're going to see the Boba is going to put out an HK-47, immediately allowing us to tell an opponent that if they, of course, have any guys that die off the board, meaning that we are able to deal the 1 damage to their base. So anyways, one card we are seeing that I was not playing was the Kylo's TIE Silencer. I was not playing Kylo TIE Silencer as a 2-drop in my deck. So anyways, we're going to go for the Turbo Laser Technician because, again, we want to ramp. Chancellor Palpatine comes out on 7. So, again, if you're in green villainy, typically you're going to ramp. So, anyways, we're going to go for the Dr. Pershing. Dr. Pershing to immediately kill off the Super Laser Tech. The Super Laser Tech technically should come in active there. They caught it. Anyways, then we're going to go for a Super Laser Tech also on the Boba side. I was playing that. I just never got to it. Anyways, we're going to go for Chancellor Palpatine effect here, where you're going to immediately look at the... Okay, so it's only top 5. Top 5, you can grab any plot card in it that you want from your hand. So, anyways, we're going to grab the Chancellor there, and the rest go on the bottom of the deck in a nice random order. Typically, your opponent might ask you to cut. If your opponent, if it will be highly guided, I don't want you to get sharked at tournaments or anything like that. But if you do have that little pile, even though it really does seem weird to cut it, your opponent technically does have does have a right to cut it for you before you put it on the bottom of your deck. So just be cautious not to get sharked for that. Do ask it. If they do say no, then you put it on the bottom of your deck. But there are people that might get a little, angry that you didn't give them the right to cut a deck like that. So anyways, but nonetheless, we are seeing the Chancellor is starting to go here as they did get the Super Laser Tech. One thing they did do there was really cool is that you can use the Dr. Pershing targeting the Super Laser Tech, killing it for that 1 damage point, and then being able to put it into the resources, which is really nice there. Anyways, we're going to have to figure out what this Boba deck wants to do here. We're going to go swing another 2 damage at the Dr. Pershing. We can kill it off with the Super Laser Tech. Again, even if Dr. Pershing does tap itself, it does kill itself as well if it doesn't have another unit to direct the damage to. So Dr. Pershing is going to die here. We are going to get the draw 1 here as well. So anyways, it looks like there was a question about damage again. Okay, so the HK then triggers because the Dr. Pershing did die there. 1 damage to the base. Our player was just getting their damage marker. So anyways, we're going to go for a resupply there. I didn't really know why I needed to see that, but anyways, we already knew what it was. Anyways, we're gonna go for the TIE SF into the sky there for as a sentinel, and then we're gonna do 2 damage to the base. Again, it's a 33 health base, and it's unfortunate that the Boba player hasn't really set up space at all. Again, Boba JTL wants to be in space. They really haven't set up at all in space. Like, no fighters, no nothing. And that's kind of where I won. Like, every one of my games I was playing Boba Green, I was winning in space. Anyways, we're going to hit for 3 damage there onto the base there. And then we're going to go for 2 onto the ground here. And again, we're able to do another 2 damage. But again, it looks like my opponent, I think they were talking about damage coming from the HK, but they only took 1 damage from it already. Nothing really else to do there. So it's going to be interesting. We did see a 𝐒𝐿 in their hand as well. That's a really fun card. And I totally forgot Chancellor Palpatine has to pay 1 for some strange reason. But then again, you are searching the top 5 cards of your deck for a plot card and adding it to your hand, so it makes sense. So anyways, we're going to go for the Dogmatica squad there. That is the clone trooper that can come out with Sentinel, which is pretty nice. So again, shuffling up, randomly putting on the bottom of your deck. Again, we're not going to, no one at Valkyrie Vault is going to shark you for not giving the right to people to cut. I always give my right to my opponent to cut my deck. Most people don't even care. But as a reminder, if you are shuffling little cards like that, some people might want to cut it, so do give them the chance to cut it. I don't want anyone to get sharked in any big tournaments because of effects like that, where someone's like, well, you didn't give me the right to cut it. But just another PSA out there for anyone. I've been in card games for long enough that, I've seen people like that. Anyways, we're going to go for Charleston here. No, sorry, that's it's not Charleston. Is that Charleston? Oh man, I can't even remember. So anyways, we're going to show another Charleston, another then a Condemn, and then the Dogmatica squad. Again, you can show up to 4 vigilance units and then give a +1 to for all that. Again, the dice is not a damage counter. That is the experience counter on it, by the way. Again, this is the reason why I really like 3D printing my counter, so I never have to worry about dice. Unfortunately, it just looks like the Boba player, it doesn't really have any setup. Like, they really don't have their ships. Like, I see the IG-2000 in their hand, but again, that feels like you should have set that up a turn earlier. Like, Anyways, we're going to go for the IG-2000, 1 damage on the TIE and 1 damage on the Charleston here. I think that is Charleston, but nonetheless, you guys can correct me down in the comments. But anyways, then after that, we're going to then tap another 2. We're going to go for a Disabling Fang Fighter. We're going to move 1 of the experience tokens on the Charleston. The red die are damage counters, by the way, just so you're concerned. Green die is experience, red die is damage on the right side. Anyways, they did miss the Boba trigger off of the IG-2000. Unfortunately, it is a little too late. Boba has to trigger at the exact same time you trigger non-combat damage. So that is a miss on the tap of the Boba. I think they had a top of the summon, so they do have the capability of going top of the summon here to immediately allow them to deal the 4 damage divided how they want and then be able to then top of the summon on it. But yeah, unfortunately, it just feels like at this point that the Boba player is kind of on a back foot because the Chancellor is about to awaken here. Is going to be able to do a whole lot of plots and bring bodies out pretty fast here again. And again, it also matters on them when they want to flip. Again, this is a control strategy. We are seeing a lot of cards out of the Chancellor's hand as well. Again, the Charleston is a 4/4 with 1 damage on it right now. So technically it's a 4/3. And again, it can't kill the HK-47 right now. It could have killed the HK if it had 1 more experience token not taken off by that Fang Fighter. So anyways, Charleston's going to deal the 4 damage to the base there. So I have to kind of see what else we want to do here. The Boba is going to flip over the IG-2000, which feels like the best thing. Then we're going to figure out what we want to do. So we're just going to kill off both there. So it looks like, no, we're just going to ping 1 damage. We're going to go for a 𝐒𝐓𝐀𝐾. Okay, so instead of a top of the summon, we're going to go for 𝐒𝐓𝐀𝐾 1 damage should go to the base immediately. I don't know if they recognize that off the HK-47. Then the 𝐒𝐓𝐃𝐘 is going to allow the Boba to attack there, swing in for a big bunch of damage. Not too bad. Like I said, I was playing 𝐒𝐓𝐃𝐘 too, but a lot of times I found myself plotting out more of topple the summon than anything else. The problem here is that we're going to reduce the cost. Oh, first light. Ooh, that's kind of gross. Then we're going to be able to swing in, especially if... Okay, so the first light's going to come in. We're going to be able to draw 1 card when it kills off something, which is really nice there. So that's the only plot we're going to bring out. That looks like they finally caught the fact that, yeah, you need to be able to play that. So anyways, we did reduce the cost of the did not play another plot card off of the Chancellor, only 1 hero as we go for that. So anyways, then we're going to swing the 2 there. We do still do the 1 damage on the death because that is still part of HK-47. He does recognize the unit dies at the same time he dies. Anyways, the Chancellor is then going to swing in and kill over 𝐒𝐓𝐃𝐘 there, getting hit back in the face for 6 damage because I believe he's a 6/8. Yeah, no, he's like tanky. Anyways, then we're going to go for the 𝐒𝐲𝐷. That does suck because the 𝐒𝐲𝐷 states that if your opponent can reveal a blue, black. So vigilance, ability, your attack gets -2 on it. So that does really, or no, it's -3. No, the condemn's even worse than normal. So yeah, Kira uses it. I would have probably used it in Iden Data Vault. Even Chancellor Palpatine's use it. It's a really good blue villainy card, folks. It's a really good blue villainy upgrade. And if your opponent doesn't have like upgrade hate to like get it off their own ship, it's nasty to deal with because meaning that most cards can't get past a -3 in the attack, meaning that this Boba now is only swinging for 4 damage per turn because of the IG losing the natural 3 attack. So we're going to have to kind of figure out, again, the board has stabilized itself a little bit here, but again, I think the one problem for the Boba players is they didn't just stabilize the board fast enough. Typically for Boba, you want to get the space going, you want to get punching in the space. That doesn't help when a first light comes flying out of the resources and then punches one of your guys out of existence and then allows your opponent to draw 1. But still, First Light is always a really cool card. By the way, if you didn't know, First Light was actually the promo given out to everyone, no matter where you placed in the tournament, was given out as the promo. So it was really nice. I got my playset of First Light, which is pretty nice here. The players look like they're just talking, discussing what they want to do here. We're going to go for the Devastator to deal 4 damage indirect. So that's just going to be able to get rid of the First Light there, which is pretty nice there. Just getting rid of that. That does a 9/6 now in space as well. But unfortunately, I do see an Avenger in there, which does mean we do have that problem. And one thing we don't have to really worry about the Avenger overall is that the Avenger can't merc off Boba Fett with the effect here. So anyways, we're going to go for the 𝐒𝐲𝐷 and swinging with that. We're going to reveal the, oh no, I just think, yeah, it just needs to have a vigilance with blue. So anyways, we're going to go for swinging in the eager escort to deal 4 damage to the Devastator here, and then we're immediately going to be able to swing do a little more damage here. And then we're going to go for, Cad Bane's going to destroy the Devastator. He went in there and did his job. Yeah, his job. Anyways, that's probably the only one I like of the 2 arts they released for this Carbonite. Besides, of course, the propaganda posters, which I absolutely love the propaganda posters. The Cad Bane, the one poster is the only one that looks good is Cad Bane, just because he's already naturally vigilance. But other than that, I don't like the one poster. I think those ones are so bad. I just don't like them. I do like the Cad Bane. I think that one. If there was one that's really worth for being that art, it's Cad Bane, because he just feels like he should be on a one poster. But I wish we had more propaganda. So anyways, we're just going to go for OB to remove the board state there. Just get rid of everything here. We're going to have to kind of figure out what we want to do with that, with everything we got there. So we're going to have to kind of figure out what we want to do. Reinforce Walker when played. Look at the top card of your deck. You can either pitch it or draw it to, if you draw it, you don't get any, you just draw it. Otherwise, if you pitch it, you heal 3 off your base. It's just a great way, especially, again, you're in a 60 card deck. So most of the cards in your deck you can get off. Oh, there we go for the good old Fang Fighter, removing the Condemn so that Boba Fett can go swing full damage without having to worry about the Condemn. And yeah, I did forget Condemn. No, it's, what I was trying to put Condemn as was, Diplomatic Immunity, which is show 2 vigilance and 2 heroic. So anyways, a whole bunch of damage coming in there off of that Boba Fett swing. Again, the Reinforced Walker is really nice. We do see the vigilance as well, and I did see the fact that we do have, I think there's a Super Laser Blast in the hand of the Chancellor Palpatine player. So they do have the ability to just reset the board straight out. And again, they have way more cards in the Boba leader as well. So going to be very interesting what they want to do here. If they have timely intervention, I think you could timely intervention the Avenger into the leader, so ambush the Avenger into Boba, killing off Boba, and then the effect of Avenger on play would kill off the Fang Fighter, removing both off the board. So anyways, of course, the Reinforced Walker swinging, going to deal the 6 damage to the base, and then check out the top card of the deck. Either we pitch it to heal 3, or we draw it to put it in our hand, just knowing that the fact that we are very close to dying. So, Super Laser Blast! Ugh. Sucks to know that's the top card you had to pitch out just to heal 3 damage, so the fact doesn't matter. You can survive this a little bit longer. That does mean that putting to your opponent the thought of, what do you do next? Because they have OBs. OBs are kind of, I mean, they would be nice because then you could hit the Reinforced Walker, but the problem is I was swung the Boba leader there, because if your opponent has any way to like hit you with a Super Laser Blast, that's just devastating. That just kills you off. Anyways, we're going to go for the Vigilance. We're going to move the Fang Fighter from the board, and then we're going to heal the 6 there, so allowing us to survive a little bit longer on the board state here. So it's going to be interesting what exactly our opponent wants to do. Again, I would have swung with the Boba in my personal opinion, because if you know for a fact you're playing into this state of that your opponent has the access to Super Laser Blast. Anyways, we're going to go for OB to murk off the Walker. Well, that is one way to get rid of the Boba. A Power of the Dark Side. Again, that targets anything on the board presence and kills it. So that's pretty much about it. We're just going to pass again. I think they wanted to do the chances effect, because technically, yes, they can go get plot cards and get them into their hand, even though they're not going to put them in their resources because there's no point of plotting them anymore. But yeah, they can still look for them. I mean, there are still bodies you can throw down the board state and play with, so that's the thing. Anyways, we're going to go for 6 damage from Planetary Bombardment, 7 damage because of the effect off of the Boba there. So again, if you have a capital class vessel out, you deal 12 indirect damage to your opponent. So anyways, we're going to go for another Reinforced Walker melee pitch to heal the 3. Again, it's just real nice what these Reinforced Walkers can do. Again, in a 60-card deck, it's really just good. Just play out the Reinforced Walkers, heal your base, pitch all the things you don't need out of your hand, and just basically force your opponent to attempt to out the board state. Again, now both players who have plot in their resources can't use them, because neither of their leaders can deploy, so the plots are now rot cards in their resources. Again, you do plot them in your resource because you think you'll be able to plot them out and use their effects and all of that. Anyways, we're going to go for a Super Laser Tech onto the ground there, and then we're going to pass. It looks like we did draw into another Super Laser Blast on the Chancellor side of the board. So that does allow us to immediately kill off the board state. And then, yeah, there's no reason to put out another Super Laser Tech, because again, I don't even know how many resources they're both at this point. They got a lot to play with. But yeah. So it'd be very interesting to see how exactly the Boba player gets out of this. They're definitely playing a different Boba deck than I was. Now, I was playing like Super OB, and I was playing Planetary Bombardment. I was playing those really good cards. Don't get me wrong, those are good. But we have seen a couple cards that I really wasn't playing. Like we did see in their hand, like Kyo's TIE Silencers. But there's a lot of cards in here that are similar. I was playing Maul. I was playing Maul in mine as well. Super Laser Tech is going to get killed there. I guess we're just going to ignore putting it into the resources standing. We're just going to pitch another card to immediately remove another No Glory on the results to allow us to heal 3. Basically, we're just staving off the damage, forcing our opponent to realize that they can't win the game. The problem is that Maul. That Maul is a 7/6 right now. They finally realized the Super Laser Tech. Yeah, it's not a Yuma. It's usually you put always into the resources. The problem is the Maul does take the game, but unfortunately the Avenger just remains. The Maul is now removed off the battlefield, so you don't have to worry about it. Again, that's one thing about it. I think our player with the Maul just simply passed. There's going to be a Charleston, so even if the Maul was still up, the Charleston still protects the board state, because the Maul really was the only way to actually win that game state there. So we're going to immediately get a scoop up from the Boba Green player, allowing the Chancellor Data Vault to take it game number 1, which means it's time for game number 2. Here we go, folks. Game number 2. Let's see what happens. After a long, grueling game number 1, we're going to start off with the Chancellor looking at the top 5 cards of our deck, looking for a plot card where, we're going to plot out and grab the first light. Really good card. Really like that. It's a great counter against a lot of space strategies, because it can just come out and immediately start blasting things open in the space and giving you out of that. Plus, not mentioning, because it's plot, it's automatically just a free resource you can put down in your hand. We're going to go with the Super Laser Tech on the Boba side of the board, and we're immediately going to go for a Super Laser Tech on the Chancellor side of the board. I guess we'll just stare at our Super Laser Techs each other. Sly Moore went into the resources as well. By the way, people were siding in this event. Again, another typical thing that you don't see over at Valkyrie Vault is we don't really use side decks. Now, again, in this type of event, I would highly recommend bringing a side deck to it, just so that you can have different cards to play against your opponent. But typically, when the locals are playing, we really don't have side decks or side cards like that. But nonetheless, both these players did finish up some sideboarding to put in to try to counteract each other's plays. We do see the Slave 1 in their hand, or Bet's Fire Spray. in their hand as well. So the Boba leader does have the initiative here. They just resetting their dial to 0-0 here, kind of figuring what they want to do here as well. So it'd be very interesting exactly what they want to do with their next set of plays here. So anyways, it looks like we're going to go Super Laser Tech on Super Laser Tech, which does mean that they are now tied on resources. We're going to go for a resupply. Ooh, that does mean the Chancellor comes out next turn before the Boba does. It can be a little dangerous. Not much, but anyways, we're going to go for this Fet's Fire Spray, dealing 3 indirect damage. Remember, when played, you deal 2 when played on attack, deal 1 indirect damage. If you have a Boba leader unit or upgrade on your board state, you can deal 2 indirect damage, and then we're going to trigger the Boba's effect to, of course, deal the extra 1 indirect damage. Pulling out a Dr. Pershing on this side of the Chancellor side so we can get those extra dollars. We do see a Super Laser Blast, which is going to be lethal here very soon because, again, they are now at the 7. The Chancellor can awaken. The problem is, as a reminder, it mercs the entire board state, so it does mean it mercs your own board state as well. So it will be really interesting what they want to do here. So anyways, we're going to go for the 4. We're going to go for the 2-2. So we're going to deal the extra 1 indirect damage. So we're going to go for all 3 of the Dr. Pershing as well. So basically just saying the Dr. Pershing is now going to die for us. The big question is, should we flip the Chancellor here? We know we have the access to First Light, so we pay 4 for the First Light so that we can get rid of the Slave 1. So our opponent has to go on a Ruthless Raider. So yep, we're going to kill that, and immediately going to be able to merc that off with the ambush effect. You're going to draw 1 because we did kill off a guy. So that really does push the Boba. And then we're going to go put out Chancellor Palpatine with the 2 spies that have Sentinel. Not that it's really going to matter with the Sentinel. There's nothing on the ground to really punch it. And most of the time, you're not ever going to play Boba Fett on the ground. The Boba Fett leader wouldn't really flip this turn, or I guess he's going to flip anyways. I would have waited 1 more turn, maybe see if you get out, if you had Top of the Summit in your resources, and then go for Top of the Summit. So it's going to finish off the First Light there with the half damage, and with 3 of the damage, so they could kill off the First Light, then 1 damage on a spy. And then again, we do have the Dr. Pershing to ping itself for 1 to allow you to draw 1, or we're just going to pass and not attack with the Chancellor Palpatine. Well, that was 3 damage we decided not to do anything with, but I don't know. I'm not these players. Anyways, we're going to go for Power of the Dark Side. Power of the Dark Side. Oh, okay. That's why they did it. They wanted to take the initiative for Power of the Dark Side, which makes complete sense. Anyways, 2 damage onto the base with the Ruthless Raider. And then we're going to kill off the unit there with it. So we're going to kill off the Chancellor with the Ruthless Raider, and then 2 damage. And then we're going to ambush Maul into, of course, a spy there, allowing to deal the overwhelm damage into the spy there, which is pretty nice. Again, unfortunately, well, I guess you could take 6 and 7 damage back with the Chancellor Palpatine into the Maul, but we're just going to go swing Chancellor Palpatine into the base there for 6 damage, and we're going to swing another 2, and then we're going to go for this, hitting the spy for 1 to allow us to draw 1. Then we're going to go for, that does suck that they drew right into No Glory on the results off the Dr. Pershing, and me allowing them to pay the some resources there to immediately kill that right off, to get that Maul right off the board state. That really does suck. Your opponent just top deck the card to out the Maul. Sometimes you love it. Anyway, they are sitting on the Super Laser Blast. Anyways, then we're going to go for the Devastator. Devastator do 4 indirect damage to the base. We just got to push damage right now on your opponent's base. Anyway, 6 damage onto the base with the Chancellor. So the Boba player is up right now. Then it looks like things are not going their way because they're burning all their resources to play as a single guy. With Dr. Pershing to draw 1, it does need to tap itself as well. Oh, that Vader is there now. That is dangerous. So we're anyways up. Doesn't matter. Avenger coming down. Merc off the Devastator as well. So yeah, so here's the thing about what you're seeing is that Boba is a mid-range deck that if it stabilizes, it can win the game state real easy. If it could get its ships going and all that, it is dangerous. I don't know why our opponent just reset their dial. I think they accidentally touched it. But anyways, there was a couple talks about everything. So they did swing twice with the Chancellor and then twice with a spy. So that puts them up to so that puts them up to 12 and then plus 4 more. So they are at 16. I can't remember if that is correct or not. But nonetheless, I mean, what's this Boba player going to do? They're well up anything. So 4 indirect damage coming at the base there. The Avenger just going to immediately deal 8 damage to the base there and just immediately kill the Devastator. There's really not much else you can do. Boba JTL Green does not have a way to kill an Avenger in space. So yeah, the game goes to Chancellor Data Vault. In my opinion, the newest control strategy in the game. I forget where this player topped. I think they still got in within top 8. So they did still get top 8 with the tie. But nonetheless, it was a really good game. It shows the power of what Chancellor Data Vault really is. When it gets into that grind game, it will win the grind game. Now again, the Boba player just didn't seem to get able to set up enough to do things. Again, I would have waited on flipping Boba onto the Devastator. The problem is you're also playing into Power of the Dark Side. You're playing into No Glory on the Results. There are things you could really do with. You are playing in Super Laser Blast. You're playing into the Devastator Green one, and you're playing in the Avenger. So there's really not much you can do. In this state, you have to win in the early game. You have to punch quick and fast, meaning you need to ramp and then punch in, get your ships going, get Boba onto your ships, maybe even top of the summit to try to deal a bunch of damage to stuff, and get in there fast to kill this deck strategy. Because once you start getting into the late game, this deck, any controlled deck is going to get into the late game, and they're going to grind out the late game hard on you. And if you are not a deck that can grind with them in the late game, you're just going to fizzle out to them, because they'll be able to stabilize their board state and just murk all the things that you're playing for one cost. So like Devastator, play it, do something, they counteract it with something, and then are player able to play something else. So nonetheless, it's a really cool deck. It's a fun deck. I might bring it. I'm not sure. I think maybe I'll bring Tier Data Vault before I bring Chancellor Data Vault. But nonetheless, I'm just not certain. It's a really fun deck. No, it's a really cool control strategy deck. It is going to lose a lot of interesting pieces once we rotate, but I still think it's going to be a interesting threat type of deck. But nonetheless, guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments on the gameplay, on the decks. Have you tried out either of these? Have you done Boba, JTL Green, or Chancellor SCC or SEC Data Vault? Let me know all that down in the comments. Anything else I missed in the gameplay or anything at all. And while you're commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you can notify when my videos go live for you. I will see you next time. I'm on Dragons TCG.